A huge thank you to Jeff Holmes for bringing you today's video via Patreon. Kinnan versus the Locust God with a grip full of lands, so we're going to mulligan into no lands now. Actually, that is that's a nice surprise, so we will keep on that. Let's put away Coma. We are on the play here, so we'll just get out the Birds of Paradise, ready for a turn 2 Kinnan. Our opponent just running out a Skull Clamp, curiously. They're nowhere near making use of that, I wouldn't have thought. 1,000-year Elixir for us. Yeah, I think we can just get out our commander here and the Boreal Druid. Okay, they've got a Mana Crypt, so maybe they're closer to that Skull Clamp than I realised. Then it is Kira, Great Glass Spinner, so not going to be able to target their stuff very easily. Which is actually relevant when we've got a Hullbreaker Horror in our midst, but yeah, I think we're maybe just going for an activation on Kinnan now anyway. Or maybe we could hold up the Kinnan and maybe flash this out at the end of the turn. Yeah, maybe that's the thing to do here. Isolated Watchtower for our opponent. They are struggling on red mana so far. May well be that they cast a wheel at some point to try and get themselves into the red mana. That will give it to them. Heraldic Banner. Noteworthy that the insects that the Locust God makes are both blue and red. Alright, curiously, they still name blue with this though. Alright, so at the end of the turn we'll play out the Hullbreaker Horror. Can't be countered, so I wouldn't have thought there'd be anything they would do in response. Okay, and another land in Polluted Delta. Dip down the land count to 33, because I was drawing too many lands at 35. Well, we can play out the Polluted Delta, get ourselves into some more blue mana. And then, yeah, I think we're just holding on to Kinnan again. Might as well swing in with the Hullbreaker Horror, deal 7 damage to our opponent. It's telling that they didn't put the Skull Clamp onto the Kira, so they're obviously wanting to hold up the mana. They would have to put 2 mana into equipping their creatures with Skull Clamp, so that is a little bit of a nombo, I suppose, because this does counter spells and abilities that you control as well, and that does include equips. Still worth it for the Skull Clamp though, I imagine. Alright, a Frantic Search, draw 2, discard 2, and they can untap lands. So should tap this down in response to float some mana. Discarding Invoke the Firemind and a Vandal Blast. Well, still not doing anything. Let's activate the Kinnan, see what we get. Okay, we just have a bunch more dorks there. Quirion Elves, the Marrowleaf Pixie has flying, so we'll just go for that. Okay, and a Leafkin Druid as well. We are going to tap that down for 2 mana. So let's play out the 1,000-year Elixir here. And that will effectively give our dorks haste. Hullbreacher Horror going to trigger here. Return a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And we'll just target the Kira. Start trying to make them recast that. Then Leafkin Druid do exactly the same again. Pointed at the Kira. The counter has already taken place here, so that will go back to hand this time. Alright, so now we can tap that down for 3 mana. We get additional mana from the Kinnan. Untap it with the 1,000-year Elixir, and we'll dump all this mana into Kinnan, try and actually get something decent. Circle of Dreams Druid is effectively another Gaia's Cradle. So we tap that down for a bunch of mana, and yeah, we don't have enough blue now, unfortunately, but we'll activate it again. May well get into another blue source. Nope, just totally whiff, not doing too well here. So we've got one last blue source in the Marrowleaf Pixie, tap down the Gaia's Cradle. And we've got 4 floating, so it might be that we get into another dork that can allow us to activate it again, such as Elvish Archdruid, for instance. Noteworthy there's a Consecrated Sphinx there. Do we pass up on Consecrated Sphinx? I don't think we do, not for the sake of another activation on Kinnan. Not going to swing in with the Kinnan here, because they might have a flash creature, a Snap Mage or something that they want to go for, just for the sake of forcing us to recast that. Knock them down to 23. Our opponent's been a good sport here, because I don't think it's going too well for them. We do draw with the Consecrated Sphinx. That is an Ornithopter, more blue mana for us. And yet another dork. Maybe start holding on to these now, because our opponent could wipe the board. It's not quite as likely in blue, but there are colourless and blue board wipes. Yeah, our opponent scoops there. This can just be a bonus game to get the video rolling. We'll try and get a real one. Kinnan versus Nicol Bolas the Ravager, likely a control deck we're up against. It's funny that we have the combo on turn 1. Dramatic Reversal and Icecrown Scepter, but there's not really anything we can do with that. So we'll just have to ship it back and try again. Yeah, we've got more mana this time, so that's looking pretty good. Get rid of the scroll rack, there's nothing to put on top with that anyway. We'll hold up the mystical tutor, but I wouldn't have thought I'd want to go for anything with that right now. Yeah, and our opponent just plays a tap land, so we will do the same here. Or maybe going for Fierce Guardianship is a good idea. We have that in this deck, surely. Yeah, maybe going after Fierce Guardianship actually isn't a terrible idea. Let's go Tropical Island. They will know that we've got it in hand, but we'll force them to use 2 pieces of spot removal to get rid of our commander. So we do, of course, draw into that. That will be free counter magic to protect our commander. Go for green mana with the Prismatic Vista, just in case we start drawing into a load of dorks. Play out our Kinnan as well as the Mox Amber. This will tap for mana, of course, and we can Pongify something. Not likely that we'll have anything to Pongify on turn 2. Our opponent likely holding up counter magic here, I would think. We get into another land, which isn't terrible. So tap the Mox Amber down for 2 mana, gets us out an Arcane Signet, pass through their turn really quickly, so maybe they're not holding up counter magic. And next turn we should be able to start activating Kinnan. Again, not going to swing in, just going to play really reserved and assume that they might have a flash creature that could slow us down. Breeding Pool comes down tapped, and then it's round to our turn again. Okay, Muddle the Mixture is going to fetch us combo pieces. I think we just do what we did last time and activate Kinnan at the end of our opponent's turn. And there is a Chaos Warp, so forcing us to use that counter spell. There's an argument to be made for going Muddle the Mixture here, seeing as how we're nowhere near a combo, but yeah, they know we have this anyway, so let's just use it. And then if they go for some kind of spot removal again, then we've got Muddle the Mixture. I imagine there's plenty of spot removal in this Nicol Bolas deck. This might be Toxic Deluge, maybe? No, it's Ashiok Dream Render, so that renders this thing useless anyway. With the transmute cost, not going to be able to search. Exiling a bunch of stuff from our library. I'll leave the exile zone over here. Noteworthy that they did manage to get rid of Intruder Alarm there, as well as Jingataxius. Now, there could be a Lightning Bolt or something that they do in response here, a Pongify, something like that. But we'll tap out regardless and try and get something good with Kinnan. Alright, there is a Seedborn Muse, which is really good. Cogler as well. I think the Seedborn Muse will be fine here. We'll be able to get rid of Ashiok and activate Kinnan on a bunch of different occasions. Alright, Swiftfoot Boots. Yeah, we could go for Swiftfoot Boots now, and so we're not worried about the Kinnan getting blown up. Let's swing in first of all. Okay, I'm just going to assume that they don't have any kind of spot removal actually. So yeah, let's go for the activation again here before we untap during our opponent's upkeep. Alright, Sylvan Caryatid we cannot do anything with right now, but it's more mana for next turn. And they've just shown us that they don't have Pongify or a Lightning Bolt, I think. A Ponder, trying to get themselves somewhere closer to an answer. Once again going through to the end step, so we'll test them once more. Either way, we get the activation on Kinnan. Alright, and there is a Coma. We could be really mean with a Terastodon, but our opponent's not doing too well here anyway. There's Biomancer's Familiar as well. Let's go for the Coma. Triggers on every upkeep, so we'll get a Serpent's Coil. And now going for something in response, so it might be time for Muddle the Mixture. So we'll still be able to activate Kinnan, because we got this last turn. And struggling with their mana somehow there. Alright, that is a Croesus's Charm. Destroy a non-black creature, can't be regenerated. We'll go Muddle the Mixture on that. Alright, and as soon as our opponent saw us tap down blue mana, they decided to scoop there. That turn we were drawing into Boreal Druid, and then the top 5 cards would have been these. We would have had an Elvish Archdruid and a Nezahal as well, so might have gone for the Elvish Archdruid and been greedy for more Kinnan activations. But yeah, either of those two is probably the way to go there. I'll try and get another one from here, but if this is the last video you see, then these are the best games that I got. You tend to get a lot of early scoops with Kinnan for obvious reasons. It's a very strong commander. Hopefully you all enjoy the video if you don't see any more games here. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.